This podcast is for a mature audience and may be viewed as inappropriate or insensitive to some. Listener discretion is advised. The intention is to share conversation of like and unlike-minded individuals as they try to be the best them they can be in a life full of challenges, searching for love, acceptance, and positivity. Call 669-241-1422 and share yourself or catch up with Sweet Baby J for an anonymous face-to-face interview. Feel free to call in with questions, stories, thoughts, or anything you would love to talk about and share. Nothing is off the table when talking sweet with Sweet Baby J at 669-241-1422.
Ladies and gents and ladies, once again, you are here talking sweet with Sweet Baby J. As always, it's a no-face, no-case scenario. We have this young stallion here, and as always, we share the opportunity, or we give the opportunity to share your name. Young stallion, would you like to share your name or not?
Yeah, my name is Robert.
All right, Big Rob, what's good? What's good? How's everything in your world?
Everything's everything, maintaining, no complaining.
I like how you styling and profiling. I like it. So what's going on, man? Let's talk about it. Everything is good with you? What part of this world are you at?
Yeah, right now I'm chilling over here in Florida. Did live in New York and took care of my kids. I have 5 daughters. I have 3 biological daughters, and I have 2 that I adopted.
Wow. With 3 biological daughters, are they older than the 2 that you adopted, or how does that work?
It's kind of in between. I have one that's older than them, the other daughter is older than my other 2, but younger than my oldest daughter. And other daughter is the same age as one of my other daughters. And my youngest one is around 21.
All girls?
All girls.
And you're married?
Yeah.
Damn. 6 females in the house. You were the only guy?
Only guy.
Did you ever feel outnumbered or like they ganged up on you or anything like that?
It was hard going to the bathroom.
How many bathrooms did you have?
At the time I had 1, and then I made another one. I had 2. So, but I still had to take a shower late at night or early in the morning before everybody got up.
Man, the bathroom you had was in the backyard. Don't.
Yeah, there were plenty of times I went in the backyard and took a piss.
Gosh dang, that's crazy. With 5 girls, what made you adopt the extra 2?
Well, how it happened, I kind of started when I was a young kid. When I was about, I was a young teenager. I had a girlfriend that she was a foster child, and she went from home to home, her and her sister. And in one of the foster homes, her mother died, and her father passed away too. So they were put in foster care. And from what I was told, my mother told me that her and her sister, my girlfriend, who was my girlfriend at the time, because she spoke to my mother and told her, I guess, what happened, because she never told me. Her and her sister got raped by one of the foster parents. So fast forwarding to me as an adult, I have my 3 children, and they were all teenagers except for my youngest, and they were in the same school as the 2 girls. And from there, their mother, I knew their mother from the street and stuff. We kind of sort of grew up together. And so their mother passed away, and the 2 girls were still going to school with my children.
Okay.
So they moved in with the aunt, and the aunt was kind of out of her mind. She was kind of crazy. She would lock the kids in the basement.
She was abusive.
Yeah, she was abusive. She did a lot of stuff to them. Wow. And she would beat them, and she would, it was just bad for them. Mm. So the aunt was going to give them up to the foster system. So my daughter came to me and said, Dad, they're gonna put the 2 sisters in foster care.
Yeah.
So I thought about what happened to my girlfriend and her sister about going into foster care. And these 2 girls, the ones that I raised, they were beautiful girls. They're beautiful black girls, black children.
So
I didn't want them.
You were looking out for them.
Yeah. I didn't want them to go through that. I didn't want them to get assaulted, and I wanted to give them a chance at life. So I talked it over with my wife, and we said, we can't have that. And I said, okay, let them stay with us. So they stayed with us, and I had to go to court, and I had to speak to the judge, and the judge asked me, was I willing to take care of them, and if I wanted them, and being a big responsibility, and it was really hard. So I said yes. And so the aunt gave up all rights to the children, and I took them in, and I basically adopted them.
Is it that easy?
And
someone can just give up rights to a child, and if someone's willing to take on that responsibility, you just go to the courts, and it's that easy to make it happen?
Yeah.
Wow. How did that work out for you?
In New York.
Bringing on these two young ladies and wanting to provide a better world for them. Did you do your job or what you wanted to do? Were they accepting to that?
Also,
I got to ask, did they mesh well living with your daughters?
Yes and no, because we had a lot of hard times with them because they were already kind of like, one was, I think she was like 12 or 11, and the other one was like 8 or 9, somewhere around there. So they were the same age. One was the same age as my middle daughter, and the other one was younger than my oldest daughter, a little bit younger. They're like a year or two apart. Mm. So raising them, it was kind of hard. I had to basically take or split food from my children's mouth, so to speak, and give it to them, and try to provide love for them and a stable home for them and for my children at the same time.
How did that work out? Were they accepting to what you were trying to provide?
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard. And I have to take my hat off to my wife for even putting up with it, because at times I would leave. I had to go places and I had to work to provide for 2 more mouths to feed. So I had to do a little extra. But I tried to show them love as well as show my children love and not show any separation between them.
Okay. So
it's kind of hard.
I can only imagine. So how are they now as adults?
As adults, one is doing very well. She works in the city, and she does her thing over there, and she went to college. She's doing well. The other one was doing well, and then she did something on her job that was really caused her to lose her job.
What did she do? If you don't mind, are you able to share what she did? And
yeah, you know what? I'll share it. She did some inappropriate things, and she was in law enforcement. She did something that was inappropriate, and she almost got arrested for it. And because of my background and the people that knew me that was going to arrest her, gave her a break. But so instead of her going to jail, they just made her lose her job.
Wow. Okay, I gotta ask, bro. This is all anonymous. No face, no case. What did she do?
Well, she was a CO, and she went and she was messing with the inmates while she was on the job.
Sleeping with the inmates?
Yeah, sleeping with the inmates.
Wow.
And from what I was told, she was also bringing in drugs to them. And the DEA was going to arrest her and everything.
How does one bring in drugs into a jail?
That's a good question. For females, I mean, now we have dogs and everything that smell that stuff out. But if sometimes for women, they secrete the drugs in their body. They have more pocketbooks in their body.
So they're putting drugs in the vagina.
Yeah, you could say that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is what she was doing?
I don't know how she brought it in, but that's one of the
possibilities.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
she was bringing this in for inmates?
Yeah. And when they found out about it, what happened was one of the inmates ratted her out. I don't know why. Maybe because he was jealous. He was jealous because she wasn't messing with him no more, or messing with somebody else.
Oh, so it was multiple inmates that she was messing with.
Yeah, it was more than one.
Wow.
The exact amount, I really don't know, but it was more than one.
I've seen this in movies, TV shows in which COs sleep with inmates. I always thought this is something that was just TV drama for cinema. It really does happen then.
Yes, it does. Male and female alike. It does happen.
So people are legit out here putting their whole career on the line.
Their freedom.
And their freedom. Wow.
Yeah, because even though these consenting adults, inmate can't consent to any type of sexual contact because they are inmates. So even though they say inmate says wants it, whether you're male or female, it's considered rape.
Really?
Yeah.
So she was going to go to jail for rape.
She would have went to jail for rape and for bringing the drugs in.
Gosh, dang. You spoke to her. What would make her do this?
Man, I wish I knew. I just know it really messed my head up.
So, and this was your foster child?
Yes.
Pretty much, right? You put your all into raising her, and she has this career and throws it all
Yeah.
away. How did that make you feel?
Oh, it broke my heart. I'm still messed up about it.
Why?
I mean, it literally broke my heart. I was crying. I had to go see a psychiatrist. My job made me go see a psychiatrist. I had to talk to them, and it really, 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 really messed me up really bad.
What was the most messed up thing about it for you? What was it that really broke your heart about what she did?
Because I told her over and over again about it, and forget the embarrassment of it, but I told her, and she chose to throw everything away for an inmate.
What became of that relationship with the inmate? Is he still locked up, or?
Well, she paid $7,000 to get him out of jail.
Get out.
Yeah.
So she's working, doing something else now where she can afford to do that.
Well, I mean, because she was making good money.
Wow.
So she was saving money, and I wasn't charging her a lot to basically live in my house. I was like, okay, just give me $300 a month and everything is okay. And I had an apartment in my house, a 1-bedroom apartment, and I let her live in the 1-bedroom apartment, and I let her pay $300 a month flat.
And she moved this dude in with her?
No.
Oh.
No, he wouldn't be alive right now if that would have happened.
So are they still together to this day, or like how does that work out?
As far as I know, they're still together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happily married with
No, not married. They living together. From what I understand, they were living out of her car, and she got a bunch of tickets on it. He broke one of her windows in the car. Then they were living from house to house, and just, I don't know. It was just crazy the way it was happening.
So she went from a career to being homeless?
Yeah.
All for this dude?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm all for people getting a second chance at life. You've done something wrong, you go serve your time, and you move forward in life. And I also understand that there are many temptations that can take place while incarcerated. But how does she put it all on the line for this dude?
And I wish I know. I wish I knew. I mean, because as a parent, I was very proud of her when she graduated from the academy. We took pictures together. I told her I was proud of her. And she said, thank you so much for taking us into your house. And, I love you so much, Dad. I appreciate you so much. And I said, look, don't tell me you appreciate me. How you can tell me you appreciate me? Become somebody. Because right now, your family and people that know your mother and people that see you, they want you to fail. They want you to be a bum. They want you to be out in the street, be a prostitute, be a drug addict, dope fiend, all of that. They want you, and the way you can help and the way you can say thank you to me is be somebody. That's all I ask. Wow. Be somebody and prove them people wrong.
And her sister is doing just that.
Yes.
And she chose the other route.
She was on the same path, and she chose the other route. I can't tell what the other daughter is doing for her own safety, but she's doing stuff that's very, very important.
That's dope. So did you ever see the difference in how one would go as compared to the other while they were growing up from childhood to now? Were there signs that one is going to be the demon child, the other one? Did you ever see signs of that?
I honestly thought the one that's trying to be somebody right now was the one that was going to mess up.
Really?
Yeah, because the other one, she was clean, she worked hard, she graduated from college, she had a bachelor's degree, and she always said, I want to be somebody, I want to do something, I'm going to prove my family wrong, and it was all talk. But the other one, they all sold their wild oats when they was younger. And the other one, the one that's doing good for herself, she even did her wild stuff as a child. But when she got older, she stopped and she changed. She did what teenagers do. Okay. All teenagers do. Every teenager, including myself, we all had our moments.
I don't know about that. Kids. Not me. I was a straight and narrow.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Everyone knows it's a damn lie. As wild as they come.
Yeah, even a kid child that thinks it's a saint. What we might think is like, oh, that's all you did, but to that child, it was something big. So every child has their moments. Every parent every child has their moment where they get into, I guess you can call it that rebellion stage. And they do.
When your children, your biological children, were going through their phase and your adopted children were going through their phase, was there a difference in how you would reprimand, guide, or was it straight across the board, you treated everyone the same?
Straight across the board, I treated everybody the same because I didn't want them to think that I loved one better than the other because I went through that. So I didn't want them to go through that.
Dope.
For me, in my life, I've always tried to prove myself to my mother, constantly, always trying to prove myself. And I know how it felt. So as when my kids were growing up, I didn't want them to feel I had a favorite. So whenever they would say, Dad, who's your favorite? I would say, I don't have favorites. I would always tell them, I don't have favorites. I love all of you the same. And you mess up, I'm going to beat you just the same. Stuff like that. So
was there ever a thing? Because I just imagine having adopted children and it's that time to reprimand them that you may hear, you're not my father, or does that ever happen?
Yeah, it does happen. And the child says that, that's when you have to get inside their head and show them you are my child. You're not adopted. You're my child. You're my flesh and blood.
How do you do that?
How you do that? Well, it's like this. When you come to that situation, or even prior to that happening, you have to let them know, look, I understand, yes, you are not so-called, quote-unquote, my flesh and blood, but I'm going to cry for you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to make sure you have everything you need to make it in life. And to me, you are my flesh and blood. And when I talk to somebody, I don't tell them I have 3 biological children and I adopted children. I tell people I have 5 children. I don't tell them, I don't separate, oh, this is my adopted kids and this is my biological kids. When someone asks me or they say, oh, you have such beautiful children, I say, yeah, I got 5 daughters. And they're like, wow, you got 5 daughters? Oh, don't you have a TV at home? I said, no, I didn't watch too much TV. And that's how I used to do it.
So the just hearing you express that, the heartache of what took place with her, it was just as if it was one of your own biological children.
Yes.
Wow. What are your biological children, and also what does her sister say about the whole situation? Well,
yeah, her sister, her biological sister, said, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. And I'm like, look, it's not for you to apologize. Your sister chose what she wanted to do. You didn't choose it. And only thing I could tell you is learn from what she did and not go through that. And that's what she's doing.
Dope that she's making. Listen, I believe that in life, it's easier to learn from others' mistakes. Even if you might love them, but it's better to learn from someone else's mistake than go through it yourself.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes this experience is not the best teacher. Someone else's experience could be your best teacher. That's what kept me from doing drugs.
What do you mean? What do you mean kept you from doing drugs? What happened? What kept you from doing drugs?
Learning from other people's mistakes.
Oh, okay.
When I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was growing up, I had my cousin, and my cousin, I looked up to him like crazy. You know, I had mad respect for him. So one night we were at our friend's house, and it was me, my cousin, my friends, and my brother, and all of us were hanging out at my cousin's girlfriend's house. And we knew this dude named Ty Stick. And so one day, we were hanging out. It was like late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that, 2 o'clock in the morning. We were all hanging out. And so I came out the room, and Ty Stick used to smoke this drug called Ty Stick. That's why we always called him Ty Stick, because that's all he used to smoke.
Plastic?
Ty Stick.
Ty Stick. Oh, okay. I don't even know what that is, but okay.
It's basically, it's like, I guess you can call it, it's like LSD. You dip a marijuana cigarette in a liquid drug, and you let it dry, and then you smoke it.
Wow.
And they used to call it Ty Stick. At least where I lived, where they call it Ty Stick.
Oh, okay. Clearly not my scene. I had no clue what that was, but all right.
Yeah. So I'm about 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. I would think I'm going to say 15. And I come out the room, my cousin, and I come out the room. He says, "Yo, Robert, come here. I want you to do something. I want to show you something." And so he said, "Here, try this out." And, he lit it up. And as he was lighting it for me to try it, my cousin comes out of the room and says, "Yo, Robert, get back in the room." I said, "Okay." So as I'm walking back in the room, my cousin comes out and I hear him tell him, "Don't you ever offer my cousin no more drugs. And if you offer it to him, that'll be the last thing you do." And my cousin was real dangerous and everybody had respect for him. So
did you smoke back then?
No.
You were about to try it though.
Yeah. But because of this incident, this is why I never took drugs. And so the night was over. So, we're all going back home. And so we walking down the street and we saw this guy coming up, it was like, "Oh no, he's after us." So all of us started running and then we hid behind the buildings and stuff. This is in the city. So when my cousin stood right by me, he hid with me, and my cousin did LSD. He snorted coke. He shot up. Oh. He smoked herb. He did all of that.
Wow.
So he came, he's high. Everybody's hiding from this guy that's coming down the street. We was just playing, and we hide. And so my cousin comes behind me. He says, "Yo, kid," because he used to call me kid all the time. He said, "Yo, kid," he said, "don't you ever take no drugs." He said, "You don't need that." He said, "You're better than that. And you're going to become somebody. And I don't want to ever catch you doing any drugs." He said, "Yeah, I do what I do." He said, "But you're better than me. I don't ever want to catch you doing no drugs." Now, mind you, him and my brother used to get high. He used to get high with my friends, all of that. But he told me, "Don't do it."
He saw something better in you.
Yeah. So that stuck in my head my whole entire life. And for that, I never touched drugs because of what he said to me. And I haven't seen him in years. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's dead or alive. I don't know if he still lives in the city. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know anything about him anymore. But because of what he said, I think changed my life. I know it changed my life.
You owe him your life.
Yes.
It's wild that DMX, before he passed, he told the story of what got him addicted to drugs. That first time when he actually smoked whatever drug it was, I believe it was crack. I'm not even sure. But somebody offered it to him and he did not know what it was. So I can only imagine that is actually a common story that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sheesh. You got to be careful who your friends are, man. Listen, not everybody that you call your friend is your friend, and they're not looking out for your best interests.
Exactly. Exactly.
As you said, for your daughters, a lot of people want to see you fail, and they'll do whatever and get in that happy moment to see you fail. But your mission should be to see them wrong. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It changed my life. And getting back to my daughter and all of these, when I accepted them in my life, all of those things that I went through as a child and growing up, it came back to me in my head. And I didn't want, because let's be honest, Black people, you can call us Black people, African American, whatever you want to call it, people of color, we have gone through hell in life. And the cards are stacked against us from day one because of this United States system. Now, I do love this country, but I'm not blind and I'm not stupid.
I feel you.
And they used to use black babies as alligator bait. What they would do is these hillbilly country bumpkin white men would go and the parents would have their child in the front yard. They would go and grab those children, put them in baskets, and go hunting for alligators. They would tie ropes around their waist and throw them in the water in the bayou. And as they're splashing, and these alligators will come up and bite these babies and take them.
Wow.
And people think that's crazy, but you can look it up. You can go on YouTube. You can look it up in history. It's there. So
I gotta say that is definitely something I've never heard before. But sheesh.
Yeah, they call them alligator bait. That's where the term alligator bait came from. If you ever hear any white person look at a black guy, a black child or whatever, and you hear them out of the corner of their ear, your ears or whatever, if they slip up and you hear them talk about alligator bait, that's what they're talking about.
That is, look, I'm actually looking at it right now. Alligator bait meaning African American babies were used as alligator bait, according to the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia at Ferris State University, citing newspaper articles and imagery from the late 1800s to early 20th century. That is from ESPN.com.
Yeah.
Wow. That is wow. That is definitely wow, man. So you're not blind to what happened, what the history of this country, but yet this is also the same country that you love.
Yes. I fought for this country and almost died for this country. Thank God, by the grace of God, I'm still here. And hopefully, you know, everything that we're talking about tonight is going to help somebody or inspire somebody to be something.
Well, not just be somebody, but stay on the right track, because your story in itself shows that avoiding those hurdles, you can be successful. And then, unfortunately for your daughter, succumbing to those hurdles can your GPS recalculate and not let you reach a successful destination. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Have you spoken to your daughter recently?
No, actually, unfortunately, I haven't. When I found out she was still seeing this guy after after I was able to get my composure, it took me about 2 weeks or so. But after I got my composure, I talked to her. I sat her down, said I accepted what she did. And I said, all right, look, you messed up, but you can still get your life together. I said, you're still old enough, you're still young enough, rather, to correct your mistake. And I said, be somebody. Don't, okay, you messed up. Let's put that behind us. Just learn from what you did. Okay, you experienced this. You see where it got you. You didn't listen. You saw what happened when you don't listen. You still have time right now to change and correct your mistake. And she was, I know I messed up. I was like, don't even forget about you. Yeah, I know I messed up. Get that out of your head. I love you, and I still want you to be something. So what you can do, and I gave her a path to go on. This is what you could do. I said, all right, you messed up with this, and fortunately, they're not going to charge you. I didn't tell her it was because of me that she didn't get charged and she didn't get arrested by the DEA. But I said, look, you did this. Let's put that aside and let's work on something else. And I was going to help her continue and still guide her and help her. And I gave her a path, another path to take. And she said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I found out somebody, I'll call it a birdie, spoke to me in my ear and said, so-and-so went and paid $7,000 to get this dude out of jail, and she's still with him. I said, are you serious?
Wow.
And it broke my heart. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I can't take it no more.
Yeah, there's only but so much you can try to help someone.
Yeah. And then from that point, she moved in with this guy after she got him out, and, he was selling her the Brooklyn Bridge, and that was it. I haven't spoke to her since.
So she doesn't know that these gentlemen in jail, that their whole objective is to figure her out. They know what she likes more than she knows what she likes.
Oh, yeah. I told her all of that. I told her how the game is run. I told her how it was, we used to call it down in the duck. And I told her how the game is run. When you're in the academy, they tell you how the game is run. I told her how the game is run. I told her my experiences and what I've seen. And I drilled it in her head continuously every single day. And she still did it.
There's only but so much you can do, man. But when that heartbreak is there, it's deep. But you can't, there's only but so much you can do with these kids, You could give them your heart, your finances, everything to get them to where they should be. But when they want to recalculate that GPS, man.
Yeah, it broke my heart. I'm still hurt by it, but now I can live with it. But my heart's still broken,
What makes you live with it?
Accepting the fact that she wasn't the first, and she's not going to be the last. And accepting that I gave her the opportunity to be something in life, and she chose another path. So I had to come to terms with that. And it took a lot of different people talk to me to help me get over it. I mean, even talking about it now, I feel that hurt. I can live with it. There was a time where I couldn't talk about it without crying.
How did it impact your wife?
I think it affected her, but it didn't affect her as much as it affected me.
You felt you put more into her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I put my heart into it, and even though, my wife took care of my kids and she's a great mom, she gave her 100% to her and still giving 100%. But it didn't affect her because she wasn't. It didn't affect her like me because she wasn't there. I seen it firsthand. I'm the one got to go to work and see all these people that arrested her.
Wow.
So, and like I said, I know she's not the first, and she's not going to be the last.
How does one have sex in a jail? Where does that happen at?
Oh, there's all sorts of ways. Well, one of the best ways,
if there's such a thing as a best way, but go ahead.
yeah, the best incorrect way to do it is in the nighttime. You're working at that midnight shift, and all the inmates are sleeping.
Supposedly,
and you have hopefully, and you have your house detail. As far as officers are concerned, this is how some of them do it. You have your house gang, and then the person that you may be messing with, that one, you put him or her on the house gang for that night while you're working on the A post or the control post. And you let that guy come out. He's cleaning. He acts like he's cleaning the housing area and, getting rid of garbage. And then you let him out and you tell him, oh, hey, come inside come inside the bubble and clean inside the bubble. So mind you, everybody's sleeping, and the B post officers on the floor. And you wait till you get a lazy officer that likes to fall asleep on post, and you let the inmate out. You go into the bathroom where there's no cameras, and you do your business in there. And then once you're done, he comes back out like he's cleaning and everything, and then he goes back into the housing area.
So this sounds like this is also unprotected sex.
Most of the time it is. So whatever the inmates got, you gonna get. And they messing with other dudes in there too. So
wait, we taking this to a whole nother ball game now. Does that really happen? Male on male or female on female relationships? Does that really happen in jail?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I've heard stories of men say they're not gay. They're just in there doing what they do for the time being. Is that really a thing? Yeah.
To me, you're still gay. You having sex with a man. If you're a man and you having sex with a man, whether you're locked up or in the street, you're gay. Whether you're the receiver or the giver, you gay.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with it, ladies and gents. We're not saying that. We're not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. Oh, wow.
I have my own opinion about that, and
okay.
I don't want to get you in trouble for nothing, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
But I have my own, like I said, I have my own opinion about it, and some people may wholeheartedly disagree with my thought, how I feel about it. But
wow,
yeah.
So this does happen, and listen, there got to be a lot of talk going on in prison, so. You would know, I can only imagine, you would know what males are sleeping with other guys or what officers are sleeping with the inmates. How does did someone snitch on her? Did she know if this dude was partaking in other activities? Like, what's up?
From what I understand, DA was looking at it anyway, and looking at this one facility anyway. And what happens is when the inmate snitch, if it can take time, add good time to him because he snitched, they're going to snitch. They're going to tell.
There are no secrets in jail.
No. You think there is. They have their own secrets, but if you fall into the trap, you're just another duck they're going to put a notch under their belt. And, as far as rapes and stuff like that, that doesn't happen as much anymore because there's a lot more homosexual inmates in prison than there was before. Wow. So there's a lot more inmates willing to give it up. But in there.
I've seen videos of they make dudes turn into a wife. That really happens?
Yeah.
How do you make a dude turn into a wife? Is he fearing for his life?
Well, it's like this. Let's say they have nothing but time on their hands. Inmates have nothing but time on their hands to figure people out. And as soon as that inmate walks through the door, they can figure out whether he's a punk or he's somebody that ain't to be messed with. I'll give you a little story that happened that I saw. There was this white guy. He was from Russia. He was in the Russian mob. And he came in. Nobody messed with him. Nobody messed with him. When I tell you nobody messed with him, nobody messed with him. White, black, Chinese, blood, Crip, Neta.
Did he look intimidating?
MS-13. No, he was a tall dude. He stayed to himself. He had that Russian accent. He had I don't remember what the tattoo looked like, but he had a tattoo on his arm. And from that, nobody messed with him. And he was quiet. He obeyed. He was calm. Didn't say nothing to nobody. And one day I came up to him and said, hey, how you doing? Hi, sir, how are you? You know, you got to do your count and all of that stuff. And you look. And I said you. And he said hello. I said, you have an accent. Were you from Russia or something? He said, yeah, I'm from Russia. He said, this jail, this is country club. This is country club for me. You get 3 meals a day. You have you sleep. You have shower. You don't have nothing to worry about. This right here, this is nothing for me. You need to go to Russian jail. Russian jail, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to die.
Wow.
And nobody messed with that dude. Nobody. And another incident, I had total opposite. New in the housing area. I'm walking around. I do my count. And I see this one dude washing. I'm thinking he's washing his own clothes. You know, you got to check in the bathrooms. You walk around. And then I seen this inmate say, make sure you get all the stains out too.
Oh, wow.
And I said, what? And he walked, and I was new on the job. I was a rookie. I'm looking, and he's like, yo, this is jail. Come to find out, he was getting turned out because he owed somebody some money in a jail, and that one guy that he owed money to, he had to end up washing that dude's drawers. And one of the things you never, ever want to do, you never do when you're in jail, because once you start washing another man's drawers in jail, there's only a few more things that comes after that.
You are now a wife.
Yes.
Oh.
And it happens.
What if, tell me some things that you never do while in jail. If you, God forbid, get locked up, what are some of the things that you never should do? Never
tell a man to suck your dick.
Oh, as in cursing him out?
If you're cursing him out, do not tell that man, yo, suck my dick. You don't know what the F you're talking about. Wow. Never, ever do that, because you will get cut.
Wow.
Or stabbed or shanked. Or they call it, you will get gunned down, they call it. That means you get stabbed or cut or whatever. That's one thing. You never, ever want to owe anybody, because just like when you get a loan from the bank and they charge you interest, if you don't pay that loan back in time, it's the same thing they do in jail. So,
just
and
worse.
If you ever get say again?
It's just worse.
Yeah, it's just worse. Either, if you're upstate, your butt is next.
Oh, God.
Or either they're going to try to beat you up, or if you owe somebody some money, they're going to get their money back one way or another.
I can only imagine snitching in jail is never a good thing as well.
No, you don't snitch. You keep it to yourself. You hold that down.
Oh.
But the caliber today, these inmates today, depending on where you are, they're not the same. They'll rat on the officers. Like if they get a beat down or whatever, they'll rat on the officers because they want that payday. They'll manipulate the system so that they can get paid.
We're talking about some of these things, sex, getting beat up. And I thought there was cameras everywhere in prisons or jails.
Yeah, there's cameras in a lot of places, but there are places that don't have cameras.
So people really monopolize on the blind spots.
Yeah, either that or some of them don't care. I've seen this one video where they're in a holding pen inside what we call the intake. Some people call the receiving room. And they had 2 inmates in there. And one was gay. Well, to me, they were both gay. And one decided to ride the other one. And you see this on camera.
And they knew that there were cameras there?
Yeah, they didn't care.
Wow.
They didn't care.
Were they dating or something, or is this?
They would. I don't know if they were mating, dating, or I don't know what they were doing, but all I knew,
mating or dating.
One was riding the other one.
Oh.
And this one was consensual.
So when this happens, are they is it cellmates? Are these people sneaking off the same way that others do? I don't. Oof.
Well, they were in what they call a receiving room, and they weren't in the housing area just yet. They were just waiting to be housed or waiting to go to court or whatever time it was. And I guess one was hungry and the other one wanted to satisfy his hunger.
Okay. Okay. All right, I get it.
These guys, you got to realize too. Here it is in jail. They supposed to be gangster, right, and everything, and they go around and they having sex with all these other dudes in prison, and then when they get out of jail, they go back to their women and they have sex with their women. Now, if that inmate that they were messing with has something, now you got it. Now you're going to come out of jail and give it to your woman. And that spreads all over the place.
Oh, man. Do people get checked for STDs when in prison?
They can, if they ask to be checked, they can, they get the opportunity or the choice to get tested. But some of them choose not to. And it's all voluntary. So if you got something, say, when you go to sick call, you ask the doctor, I want to get checked. And the doctor will schedule you to get checked. They'll take your blood, test you, and let you know what you got.
Sheesh. So I can only imagine STDs are running rampant in prison systems.
Yeah, I would say yes. HIV is pretty predominant in there because you have these guys having unprotected sex. Sometimes they give out condoms, but they don't always use condoms, and they don't always carry them on us. So they go and they get intimate with these guys, and they got it. Happy birthday.
Sheesh. Well, my guy, I want to say thank you for talking sweet with Sweet Baby J.
No problem.
It's been a very interesting episode. I'm sorry you went through everything you went through with your daughter. I can hear the heartbreak in your voice. Oh, man. You can only do but so much with these kids till they start taking their own path.
Yeah.
And, boy, everything else that I learned about the prison system, Lord have mercy. I really want to stay away. And for anyone that's in there, good luck. God bless. It's crazy.
I could tell you, I got so much more stories I can tell you, and everything is factual.
Hit me with a good one, real quick. Hit me with a super crazy one.
One day we had an alarm, and I think I was maybe 8 or 9 months on the job, and we had an alarm. I go run into this housing area, and I see this guy with blood all over his chest, and his jaw was hanging. It was hanging down. And because one of the other inmates sliced him up, come to find out, the reason why he was in jail was because he robbed an old lady and put her in the hospital. Come to find out, her son was in the same housing area. What? And they were like, oh, shoot, that's the dude that robbed your mother, to put your mother in the hospital. They were like, okay, and the whole housing area was in on it. So what we did, he did what we call rocking him to sleep. So they staged a little fight with the guy, and they had another guy come and protect him. Yo, man, this my boy. So he thought he was cool. And then people were giving him commissary. And this one day, make a long story short, he's sitting down watching TV with his back to the front of the housing area, which you never, ever do. He's sitting there. So he had two guys on the side of him. Those guys said, and told one, I got to get something out of my cell. So those two guys peeled off, and he's still watching TV. And that guy goes and tried to give the dude a Colombian necktie, but he moved, and all he did was catch his jaw, and he sliced his jaw so bad that his tongue, you could see his tongue from the inside of his mouth from the side. Oh. And he tried to kill that dude because he beat up his mother and put her in the hospital.
Wow. And when something like that happens, how much time does the other guy get?
He gets locked up. He gets whatever sentence he had. All of that time gets added on. That time gets added on, either consecutive or concurrent, one of the two. And depending on what it is, what happened, how the incident happened. And so,
damn.
Like, if I remember correctly, concurrent means it's running with your time. Consecutive means you do your time and then that time is added on, like that.
Well, way to end the story here. Once again, sheesh. Thanks for talking sweet. If you would like to have your anonymous interview, reach out 669-241-1422. We can do it over the phone. There's different ways we can have these interviews. Reach out. Our Instagram, Talking Sweet Podcasts, and listen on every and all of the podcast platforms. Talking Sweet, 669-241-1422. That's Talking space Sweet with no G, of course. So TALKIN space SWEET, 669-241-1422. You can find us on every podcast platform. Hit us up on the gram, Talking Sweet Podcast. Young man, any last words?
Stay strong and stay away from drugs and become somebody, and don't let any of these situations that are happening in life get you down. You always got to keep moving forward and maintain. When you can't maintain, you persevere. Never give up. Only change your plan of attack.
We appreciate you for that, man.
That's about it.